hmm
tell me what happened there.
hmm
What was that all about?
Yeah, so the nurses at Robert Wood Johnson, New Brunswick, they decided to go on strike because of understaffing.
Okay.
There's a nurse to patient ratio or patient to nurse ratio
Hmm.
that there's too many patients per nurses, and that's very stressful.
Yeah.
Nurses are nervous about making mistakes and getting blamed for it and losing their license,
Sure.
or obviously, losing lives as a result of understaffing. So they decided to go on strike for a better contract and for mandates for ratios. And during that time, I started to spend a lot of time with them, maybe oh, 10, 20 hours a week, depending on the week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to know them really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them have been canvassing with me,
Oh, that's
and,
great.
and all
And
that.
and
Yeah,
what was the outcome of all of that?
yeah. So we were able to pass local resolutions, 30 of them, supporting the nurses. We went down to Trenton, that's the capital.
Hmm.
Um, and I spearheaded, actually, it was my idea to do the resolutions, and then I helped train them for lobbying. And because this particular nursing union, they are not as political as some of the other bigger ones. So
Sure.
I went down there to help them. We meet up with the bigger nurse unions, and
Hmm.
I got to know those leaders as well, and they were really happy that I was helping them. Yeah, so we got a lot of senators and state senators and assembly people to get on the bill. Unfortunately, they told me that it was the furthest the bill has ever gone.
Okay.
The chair of the health committee, he had a good hearing. He had a really good speech about it. Um, and the hospitals had their people talk about why it's not needed.
Hmm.
But we pushed it forward. I think we
And
could have done more.
sometimes that's
Yeah.
how you make progress. It's these little iterative steps, it might not have worked out this time, but you just push it forward, and
Mhm.
eventually the momentum makes it happen.
That's what we hope. So yeah.
Yeah.
So well, and then they got the contract, and then
Okay.
yeah. So well, their contract is expiring soon again, so
Back to the fight.
it might be back to the fight actually.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And it's interesting, and I think that's great that you did all that. I mean, spending so much time with those nurses must have felt great for them to have that support. And I think Democrats, by and large, we do that, right? We
Mhm.
definitely see um, injustice in the workplace,
Mhm.
particularly with unions. We always try, and I think Dems historically we care about unions. We care about championing people that are um, being taken advantage of, not having the
Mhm.
support that they need in the workplace.
Mhm.
And despite all that, John, it feels like Democrats, I should say, have lost some ground with
Yeah,
working class voters. I have a hard time understanding the correlation between the two, but do you have any thoughts on why that may be?
sure, sure. So, well, I coach basketball, rec basketball,
Mhm.
for fun. It was because I was at a polling station, and one of the other person there was a ref. He invited me to coach basketball. So I've done it for 2 seasons. And one of the parents was a union worker, and Republican. So I do think um, I do think there's a perception of the Democratic Party, focused on culture issues and
Hmm.
things like that. When I was talking to this union worker who's a Republican, one of the parents, he, you know, I was trying to convince him about Medicare for all. I think he was buying that, and he was all for the 4-day work week and all that.
Sure.
So yeah, I think you know, and I think we've seen that in other states. I'm not the expert on that, but like I know like West Virginia was a very blue state and very union heavy state,
Hmm.
and they lost that because
Yep.
apparently the Democrats didn't help them, didn't help the working class and the unions. And
Right.
there's been a shift away from that. Like, Chuck Schumer, he talked about like, oh, for every working class person we lose here, we're going to gain one or two in the suburbs, something like that. So I think there has been an emphasis, at least from the leadership and the establishment, away from that. And there are good Democrats that want to help others,
Hmm.
help the working class, but it's a big tent, right? So
It
it's not,
is.
not all of us are pulling in that direction.
Right. Yeah, it is a big tent, but I do think as a party,
Yeah.
I'd love to see us get back to
Oh yeah,
kind of
definitely.
our roots, our foundation, what we were initially designed to do, helping middle class, working class Americans. So, I love that you're doing that in, locally in your area. I think that's really commendable.
Oh, thank you. It's really nice of
Yeah,
you to say that.
absolutely.